Good afternoon. Welcome to 30 Frames a Second. I'm Greg Lassiter. This is actually our last show, live show for the year. So we're going to have a great show today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What is relevant about this is that whereas 40 years ago when I was born, the question of having to deal with what is unspoken by the subjugated, what is never said to the master, of ever having to deal with this reality was a very remote possibility. It was in no one's mind. When I was growing up, I was taught in American history books that Africa had no history, and neither did I. That I was a savage, about whom the less said the better, who had been saved by Europe and brought to America. And of course, I believed it. I didn't have much choice. Those are the only books there were. Everyone else seemed to agree. If you walk out of Harlem, ride out of Harlem, downtown, the world agrees. What you see is much bigger, cleaner, whiter, richer, safer than where you are. They collect the garbage. People obviously can pay their life insurance. The children look happy, safe. You're not. And you go back home. And it would seem then, of course, that it's an act of God, that this is true, that you belong where white people have put you.
Welcome back at 30 Frames a Second. And you know who I have with me today, the man, the myth, the legend, Nat Wood. Welcome to your own show.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Today is our last live show.
Right.
For the year, but we will have other shows pre-recorded until we come back. Before we start, there's a couple things I want to say. I want to honestly thank everybody for the emails and the communication that we've got. We do appreciate you guys watching us, and we're here for you guys. That's what we do it. We don't do it for us, we do it for you. So let the emails keep coming, and we definitely appreciate that. Nat, wait, another thing. Everything you see here, we have the only original soundtrack. And our soundtrack is original, produced. Every instrument is played by Nat. Not by me. I only play violin and piano. Nat plays, he's Prince. 27 instruments. But let's talk about what the invention of race.
Hopefully people got a chance to read it, not just like listen to the music. The music was, I used African instruments in the music as well as keyboard and stuff like that because I wanted it to reflect Africa. That was the red, green, and black box that everything came up in. I got into a discussion, an argument with a guy who obviously didn't know, but like Thomas Jefferson and Carl von Linnaeus and people like that. He had strong opinions about stuff he knew nothing about. And you couldn't get him to at least look up what he was saying. He was under the impression that and you had him as a guest on the show. I'm not even going to say who the hell it is.
Wait, who was that? Please do tell.
He was running for some sort of office.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
no.
But don't say his name.
Okay,
don't say his name.
I won't say his name. Right.
No, he'd have to be a guest so I could tell him a new one in front of the world. But he was under the impression that race, quote unquote race, racism has always been here.
Right.
and he's wrong.
Right.
Racism is an invention.
Right, absolutely.
It's a pseudoscience and an invention, and it was invented in like the
1800s.
Right.
The late
beginning-
1700s.
Right, the late 1700s.
Right.
And
But you look at idiots like Thomas Jefferson, who proclaimed himself as a scientist, that said that
they all proclaimed themselves as scientists,
pseudoscientists.
but they had no science to back what they were saying.
Right.
They had a desperate need to feel superior.
Right.
And so they made the opinion match the need to be superior because what they were doing in and of itself was barbaric and savage.
Absolutely, due to slavery. Due to slavery. Because Thomas Jefferson felt that the black man was inferior and we weren't intellectual.
That's what they said. That's what he said.
Right.
But the words, and the stuff we took from was actual notes to the state of Virginia.
Right.
And he said a whole bunch of stuff. He said some stuff about black folks. And I'm trying to pull it up.
Staying up past 12? But the midnight
yeah,
thing?
that was stupid. When they know they have to get up early in the morning and work, they ain't got brains enough to go to sleep. They stay up till midnight and whatnot.
I mean, but the world believed that.
No. White people needed to be superior. They needed to justify what they were doing because what they were doing was an abomination.
Savagery.
It was savagery.
Right.
But they did not want to admit that they were the savages.
Right.
So in order to do that, they had to convince themselves that they were benefactors.
Right.
Right.
To make other races feel inferior.
They every race he listed, and Linnaeus came up with this stuff in I think it was 1757 or something like that.
Right.
But the stuff that he listed, every other race was inferior in some way,
except for white.
Well, except for Europeans.
Yeah, right, Europeans.
Europeans. or European anus. I'm not quite sure what
it was up there. It was up there.
You
didn't make that up. Right, we didn't make that up. Right.
But white folks had blue eyes, and they were ruled by laws.
Right.
Americanus, which was the indigenous people that they murdered and killed their food and took their land.
Right.
They loved freedom. They were ruled by opinion.
Right.
They were ruled by customs.
Customs, right.
And painted their face red.
Right.
They were savages. Asiaticus, the Asians, they were ruled by opinions, and they were greedy. And they wore loose-fitting clothes, like dresses and stuff.
Right.
And now the African, what he said about Africans, I remember all of this is based upon opinions.
No scientific.
There is no science to this.
Right.
There is no science to this. As a matter of fact, long after America knew that there was no science, that this was not rooted in any science, they continued to teach that there are three distinct races.
Right.
But his opinion, Carl Linnaeus' opinion of his, and this was a doctrine that they taught in schools for like
a long time, years.
A few centuries.
Yeah.
They were teaching this when I was going to school.
Likewise,
What was some of the stuff he said? Blacks are phlegmatic,
lazy,
sly. The women, their mammaries produce an ungodly amount of milk.
Right. It was asinine what they said.
They anoint themselves with grease.
Right. You can't make this up. But let's go back to the fact
But let's look at some of the stuff. Let's take some of the stuff apart. You know.
Let's talk about lazy. Let's talk about lazy for a second.
We'll get to lazy. We'll get to lazy. We'll get to that BS. But first, I wanna point out some of the stupid things that just defied logic.
Right.
Anoint yourself with grease. Okay, why would you put grease all over you if you're out in the damn swamps with mosquitoes all over the place?
Alligators and snakes.
Right. Why would you stay up till midnight when you know that as soon as you wake up, there's a horror waiting for you? You know, I mean, like, I know what it is to struggle. When I know that Con Ed is going to cut the lights off in the morning, I'm up all night long.
Trying to do what you got to do.
TV,
whatever I
For the
last
do.
time, Till you get the lights back on.
Empty out the refrigerator in my mouth. You know, he said that, and Thomas Jefferson said some stuff about blacks being inferior, that whether it was, he didn't know whether they were a distinct race or if time and location had done this to them.
Right.
But it was obvious that blacks were inferior, that they could not understand things like Euclid.
Right. But where did Euclid come from?
Euclid was a Greek.
Right.
He was born somewhere in 4 BC and died somewhere in 3 BC.
Right.
So in that period, the end of 4 BC. He was supposed to be a Greek mathematician.
Right. But the Greeks didn't have any numbers, though, did they? The
Greeks ain't had no damn math.
Right.
The Greeks was primitive.
Right.
But Euclid studied in Alexandria.
Right.
Alexandria is in Egypt.
In Africa.
It's in Africa, the 9th largest city in Africa.
Right.
So all of his math he got from Africa.
Right.
All of his math, all of his studies. As a matter of fact, all of that stuff the Greeks came up with, including philosophy.
Right.
They got from Africa.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the Romans had a saying that there's always something new coming out of Africa.
Right.
They got all of that stuff from Africa. Okay, so that was kind of stupid. But again,
that wasn't kind of stupid. That was stupid.
White folks had a desperate need to prove that they were superior.
Superior. But that changed though. Benjamin Banneker changed all that. Remember?
But they still have not changed.
No,
they still have not changed.
Right.
If you go to the movie to see Harriet Tubman, they invent a black slave-catching bounty hunter, an invention that did not exist, to take some of the sting, the horror out of the reality of white supremacy and their role in it. They invent people and relegate us as background to our own story. We are neither protagonists nor antagonists. The protagonist is always the white boy fighting for everybody's freedom. We are actually like props in our own story.
We're background. We're extras.
They had the story about Medgar Evers. The story wasn't about Medgar and it wasn't about Merle. It was about the white lawyer who was hunting the white antagonist, Brian Della Beckworth, until he was old and gray to bring him to justice.
Green Book.
The Green Book was about the white boy. I talked about Harriet Tubman. They invent the black guy. It's not just Harriet Tubman. It's literally they did a story about what's the woman with the jeans that they got the jeans from? It wasn't about her. It was about the nurse. The story The Help, and The Help is interesting because the first Oscar that was ever awarded to a black woman was Hattie McDaniels. We showed that clip.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. She played Mammy. That was the first African American to win an Oscar, and she won it for playing Mammy.
Right. Again.
Okay.
Again.
And in The Help, she won the Oscar for basically playing Mammy.
Right. Right.
And the story was not about the maid or the black people at all. It was about the white
girl
woman writing
who
the story,
right,
who was writing about this stuff.
That's exactly right.
When they had the movie Hidden Figures,
right.
about the women who
the mathematicians.
The mathematicians. They invented a white guy who was not right. He was the one that argued about letting them go to the bathroom and stuff like that. The dude that played the bodyguard with Whitney Houston, what's his name?
Kevin Costner.
Costner.
Right.
They invented him. He's not an actual person, and there was no white person who fought for them, but they had to invent this person
let me ask
to
you
take
this.
the sting out of what they were doing.
But let me ask you this: these actors, who are prominent actors, like you got the Denzels, you got the women that are Hidden Figures, you got the people that played Harriet Tubman. Where are the consultants, or where are the people there to say, "Wait, this never happened"?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, especially. We talked about this before. When we ended we ended that clip, and we ended it with James Baldwin. He made a very salient point that is germane. It was germane then,
right? It's germane
and
now.
It's germane now. They have us at a place where we believe that it is almost an act of God, that we deserve to be where white folks put us.
But Nat, hold on a second. Even you have to go deeper than that, because if you believe that God put us here because it was in our best interest, then you have to go back to religion. Religion was created by white supremacy to control people.
So was the whip and the chains. So was the damn cannon and the Gatling gun. So was the invention of firearms
But we have to stop, Nat.
And
we have
airplanes and atomic weapons and nuclear weapons, robots, ARPA, all sorts of tortures.
But we have to, in order to
all to control people.
In order to eradicate white supremacy, we have to stop. We have to stop making it about the money.
We have a see. I don't even know if it's about the money anymore, because you.
But if it's not about the money, then why not stop? Why not stop? Why don't? If it's not about the money,
I think it's something else happening.
Subconsciously.
Subconsciously, although I think what's happening is actually even deeper than subconscious. Look at professional sports.
Right.
We have instances where white sports players on white on NFL teams have been known to spit at black players today.
Right.
Call them the N-word and all sorts of things. The NFL is set up now that the black players in the NFL could stop that like that.
Oh, easy, but they don't.
But they don't.
Because you know what? The majority of the sports, professional sports in the world are controlled by minorities. The players are.
That's right. That's right. That's
in the NFL,
right.
let's just take the two.
The
NFL,
NBA, the
NFL.
Right.
Let's just take those two.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Right away. As long as this is happening, if this happens again, none of us will play.
Right.
Not only will it bring the NFL to its knees.
Right.
However, but you can guarantee that some billionaire boy somewhere will look at that as an opportunity to start his own damn league with the best players in the galaxy. They would have to acquiesce
to our request.
And I'm not talking about like acquiescing to a request that is unreasonable.
Right.
I'm talking about just like
but what stops us, Nat?
respect, the
What
ability
stops
to speak our minds and whatnot.
But I want to know what
That is the thing.
What
That is
stop?
the
We
thing.
stop
What
ourselves.
Is it?
What is it that's stopping ourselves from
What is
saying?
it?
Because you got people like LeBron James, you got
Right.
people that's making hundreds and hundreds of $1 millions. Why can't we all come together and go, you know what? Let's make this our rules, or let's start our own league, just like the NFL.
And they can sure enough stop people from calling them nigger.
Right.
You know, I mean, they could do that overnight. They could do that
Why?
overnight.
What is it then, Nat?
That is a good question. That is a good question.
Do you guys know what is it?
That is a good
What is
question.
it? What is it?
Because it's obviously not the money. A lot of those guys have made in excess of $100 million.
So there's enough money to live their life
forever.
Forever.
You know,
Plus
forever. Yeah, ever.
Right. But then subconsciously, that's that slave mentality.
That is, and we talked about this before, that for most of the people in the world, we have gotten to a place where we cannot even imagine a world devoid of white supremacy.
Why? In order to eradicate white supremacy is not a color thing.
Right.
It's not a color thing. It's not racism.
Right.
White supremacy is I'm better than you.
Right. But white supremacy is dominion over the planet, stemming from a European stranglehold.
Right.
We are in the United States of America. They have convinced us that the U.S. is a white country.
Right.
Where'd you get that from?
Right. It's more black and brown people than white people. White people becoming extinct.
First of all, the United States is not France.
Right.
It's not Poland.
Right.
It's not
Germany.
Sweden.
Right.
It's not a country of white folks.
Right.
It is a country of all folks.
Right.
And if you want to look at the people who were here, those were indigenous people.
Right.
They weren't you.
Right. They weren't Europeans. They weren't Europeans.
And now people are coming from everywhere, and the only thing stopping people from learning and gaining access to control of different things is an education system, and the ability to advance. And we are more than in a position to do that if we assert ourselves and aim at that position.
No,
so
I
the
agree.
only thing that's stopping us from destroying white supremacy is our belief that white supremacy is forever,
but you
and our natural role is
you would think,
as servants.
Okay, but this is what I find strange. Racism, white supremacy, was prevalent when we were growing, and racism.
Right.
But as time and generations go on, it becomes less and less. And then we get this idiot that's the president to stand up for white supremacy again.
Well, Trump is a true white supremacist. The first thing come out of his mouth is a wall.
Right.
And if it's one thing black folks know, white folks do like putting up walls.
Right.
Every time you heading in the direction,
they put up
white
a wall.
folks gonna put up a wall. That's their claim to fame.
But think about this: if we change our mind, our mindset, and eradicate white supremacy, because every wall that they put up, we go right through it.
Right. And I'm not talking correct.
You know?
Correct.
So-
but we have to stop. We have to stop giving lip service to America being a white country.
Right.
It's not a white country.
Never been a white
people
country.
keep saying that.
It's never been a white
and
country.
they got you saying that.
Right. They got you believing that, too.
They got you believing
Right.
that. You know, but America is not a country of a specific race.
Right. That's exactly right.
It's not Poland.
Right.
It's not Czechoslovakia. It's the United States of America, land of all people.
Right. But then explain this. When you have people that are wealthy, people
Yes,
of color.
yes.
Let's talk about people of color.
Yeah.
We're talking about Winfrey, those type of people.
Right.
Now, they weren't born into wealth.
Right.
You had to acquire this wealth.
Right.
So, I would think, as you acquire wealth, you acquire who you are. Work with me. And knowledge of self. And you accumulate enough where nobody can pretty much touch you. So why perpetuate white supremacy? Because black people
It would
also
seem
perpetuate
that way.
white
It would
supremacy.
seem that way. It
Tyler
would
Perry.
seem that way. But when confronted with a reality that defies what you would think, you have to change the way you think.
Like we always say, change the way you think, change the world.
Correct. Apparently, there's something more going on than acquiring wealth, because they actually believe that the system of white supremacy is all there is, all there was, all there will ever be. For all intents and purposes, the white man is their God.
Right.
You know,
But
has always been, is everywhere, and will always be.
But-
If that ain't God, I don't know who the heck is.
But then why would you believe that if you've acquired and no one can touch you? That doesn't make sense to me.
Because it's the white man that blessed you.
No, you blessed yourself.
No. The only people who believe that is people who know who they are
Knowledge
going
of self.
in. They have knowledge of self going in.
But don't you think as you go,
You know.
and do you think, see, life is about learning. You just don't, see, that's where I think some of the problem is, we stop learning. Could that,
Yes, yeah. Well, no. The problem is that we believe that the white man is the giver and the taker, not
bullshit.
ourselves. We don't believe in our own capacity.
he's making money off of us.
What is the first thing? What is the first thing people tell you about some sort of evidence that they are knowledgeable? They tell you about what their job is and where they went to school.
It's just like a resume.
They don't, right. They
Like-
don't, they, I
like-
mean, if you ask them, well, what do you do? They start to stutter.
Right.
Because they really don't do anything, but
right.
they went somewhere.
Right.
And
What school they went to.
What school they went to.
Right.
And the higher on the white folks' ladder the school is, the more smart they feel they are. So
Because that's smart, it's acceptance.
Right.
Acceptance.
Right. Well, the cats who really don't care are people who do tremendous things.
Right.
You know, you find
Neil
a lot
deGrasse.
of them.
Neil,
Well,
what do you think about him?
he's in the stars. That's cool.
Neil Tyson deGrasse, all right.
But tech people, they go to school and then they drop out and start inventing stuff, dealing with technology. They know how to do stuff.
But so did
People-
we. But so did we, Nat.
Again.
So did we.
But
we invented things. We invented stoplights. We invented
And those people who invented those things probably had a greater understanding of their own capacity than a lot of people whose only point on a resume is what school they went to.
And people,
It's a difference. See, I mean, nobody asked Stevie Wonder what school you went to.
Right, no, right.
Nobody really cares.
I don't think Stevie Wonder ever went to school.
It doesn't matter.
Right, right.
It doesn't matter. Nobody asked Einstein what grade he came from.
Right.
I don't think anybody. Right. I don't think anybody knows what school Stephen Hawking went to.
Right.
Including when he was alive. Probably Stephen Hawking didn't even remember. It doesn't matter.
Right.
He's on a different. He's thinking stuff. He's doing stuff.
Right.
People who think stuff
But
and
what
do
happened,
stuff.
Nat? What happened
you
to
know,
black people then?
I don't care what school you went to. You're just not coming in here messing my stuff up.
Right. You're not changing my game.
We got a program. We got a program going on.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're doing, get the hell out the way.
Right. Move on.
Veronica, why you let this bird sit in this chair here when you know he don't know what the hell he's doing?
Right. That's exactly right.
You know, you can get expelled really quickly from my studio.
Oh, really? Hey, look.
When I ask you to do something, first of all, if I ask you to do something, it's not debatable.
But let me just say this.
I don't want to get in a debate with you about whether or not I'm wrong. This is my damn thing.
Right, but let me tell you. But let me just.
I am the daddy in this. House.
Let me just elaborate a little on what that means. Not that we have this very tight club. You have to be great, not good. You have to be great at what you do to be part of us. Now, why I say that?
Right.
Because look at this. We're in the studio right now. If you look in the average ABC, NBC, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras. And behind 4 cameras, there are people.
Right.
This is how good we are. We got 4 cameras. We don't have one person behind our camera.
Well, yeah. As a matter of fact, in terms of staff and the people who work with us, we work with some remarkable people.
Oh, we do.
I mean, multi-talented people. I mean, they're not just like studio people. They're also editors. Veronica has a film thing.
Veronica's one of the best. She's a Hollywood editor.
Anywhere in the world.
And producer. And
director.
director. Right.
And she runs the film fest.
And she runs the film fest. Veronica is in the studio, in the control room.
I don't think we have anybody. I don't think there's anybody who works with us who couldn't run the whole damn thing by themselves.
Because look, Veronica's doing it by herself today.
Right.
Veronica, thank you. We love you.
But I don't think I've ever asked Veronica what school she went to.
I never. And that never come across to us.
And she could say she went to Harvard. If she messed my stuff up, it's gonna be a war.
But that's it. But we all have a job to do, and we're the best at it. And that's why we always say, I don't care what your job is in life, just be the best.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what school you're from.
And I said point blank. I got in some stuff about some white boy that they drug in here and gave my slot when Obama got in, and they started telling me some crap about the white boy was good. And I'm listening to this clown. It's a clown show, and the musicians they have were all clowns and whatnot. Right. And I'm like, I could beat all of you by myself. None of you can shine my shoes. You couldn't hold my jock strap. The dudes who are trying to convince me that you are good are freaking idiots. Freaking stupid idiots. And nothing personal. But you are an ass. And you bring this ass bucket here.
Thinking he knows stuff.
Right. And by you telling me this, all you've demonstrated to me is that you don't know doo-doo from Shinola. You know that you are garbage.
What they were trying to do is whitewash.
But again, this is the hubris of white supremacy. Carl Linnaeus.
Right. Thomas Jefferson.
If you look, like we said, Jefferson, all of that was white supremacy fueled by hubris.
Right.
And a desperate need to be superior. and no matter what they said, it just showed how stupid they were.
Right.
The statement that Linnaeus made about African women,
Memories.
the memories,
right.
the memories. Well, if there's only one way you can get a woman to just keep producing milk.
She's pregnant.
That's after she has the baby.
Right.
You keep sucking on the stuff. So if you are using her as a cow to feed your damn babies,
Right.
your babies, if she's suckling your little white babies,
Right.
she's never gonna run out of milk.
Right.
So if you weren't using her as a cow,
Right.
she wouldn't have memories that were. But that just shows what a dumbass
Right.
you are
Ignorance.
to even bring that up.
Well,
but you don't know you're a dumbass
but
because
wait.
you're so full of hubris.
Right, right.
You
Right.
really think you all of that in a bag of
Right.
chips and everybody else is nothing.
Right.
And you need to reinforce that to everybody. So you invent some BS science that ain't science.
Right. It's
You
a
know?
false sense of security. Like, what kills me, he also said that blacks were lazy. But think about this. Let's look at the ignorance of that. From the sense of, since born, I've always heard white supremacists say blacks are lazy and shiftless.
Right.
Now, think about this. You get on a boat
Right.
and you go months and months
Say
to
it.
another
Say
continent.
it. And it took months.
Months
Hell,
to go-
it took months
months
to go from one
one-
part of a state
to the other.
to another part of a state.
But it took you months to go to
right,
another
right,
continent,
right.
to enslave a
Right,
group of people,
right.
get them back on a boat,
Right.
take more months to
Right,
come back to a
right.
country that you stole
Right,
to do your work.
right,
And you call us lazy.
right.
You call us lazy. When blacks started to migrate from the South,
and all of
you
these-
were in fear
all of
because
these
you didn't know what to
wonderful-
do.
All of these wonderful European countries that is ruled by law, and all of you beautiful people, all y'all hauled ass out of them countries, didn't you?
Where'd they go?
You know, and you went to every island you could think of. If you look at the Bible, and you talk about somebody running somebody out of paradise, ruining paradise, the name that comes up every time is the devil.
The devil.
It's the devil.
Now, that's the Bible you wrote.
That's right.
You wrote that Bible.
Right. That you wouldn't let me read on
Right.
account of, even though I was real stupid.
Right.
You didn't want me around your book.
Right.
You know?
A book that you wrote to control the masses.
Right. That I was too stupid to figure out anyway.
Right,
You know.
right, right.
But you'd kill me if you saw me reading.
Right, that's right.
You know.
So that is white supremacy at its highest right there.
And white supremacy is atrocity.
Right. Very much
Fueled
so.
by hubris
And-
and a desperate need. First of all, you talk about the Bible. And you're forever talking about the Bible. This is your book. But in the Bible, it said that God gave man dominion over all things. That's very interesting. Since
Read that.
your ass wasn't the first man.
Right.
So whoever God was talking to, he
wasn't
wasn't
talking
talking to
about you. Right.
He wasn't talking
Right.
to you.
Right.
Whoever, you're trying to convince everybody that you're the only man, but you weren't the first man.
Right. You weren't. Right.
You weren't the
And
first man.
scientifically, it's proven.
It's proven.
That, yeah,
it's
you weren't the
proven
first
through
man.
genetics that you are from me. Your scientists proved this.
Right.
Your scientists
But-
proved, not mine.
but
You
when
call
you-
mine an ass bucket.
But when you wrote the Bible in Genesis, you put Adam and Eve. But that was disproved
well,
years down the line.
A lot of people wrote a lot of stuff that they never expected people to like
Challenge.
disprove.
Right.
You know, and that brings us back to our acceptance of white supremacy.
How was the best way to eradicate it?
They've
We got to
gotten-
eradicate it.
Oh, We're
Not to
in
cut you off, I'm sorry.
challenge. No. You're 100% correct. And there were some things we wanted to talk about. This is the last show, but this is an incredible subject. We have to replenish our supply of young minds and young thinkers and young people who believe in themselves and understand what their ultimate goal must be. Right now, we are not producing those people. Today, they just snatched a 16-year-old girl in the Bronx,
Right.
jumped out of the car.
With her mother.
With her mother with her, a
Right.
black girl.
Right.
It's interesting that we make all of this noise about the opioid crisis. Oh, you know, how it's a shame that so many white boys is like, you know, dope fiends, you know. But white boys have always been dope fiends.
Right. Way before black boys. Right.
Nobody can drive up the market, the cost of drugs, like
the
white
white
boys. You know, that's right.
And that's
I'll
fact.
give you 10 times what it's worth
Right.
as long as I get the best.
And that in fact is correct.
Right. You know, yeah, the drug dealers just sit in the house and wait on the white boys to come from New Jersey.
Right.
I'm not going out there. It's a jungle out there. But nobody, and that includes black people, seem to be concerned at the rate of kidnappings.
150,000
Black girls,
Yep.
black girls, and they are so emboldened that they are snatching them from their mothers in New York freaking city.
Right, where there's a camera on every block.
Everywhere, everywhere. Not only is there cameras on every block,
It's satellite.
you know, but there are satellites.
Satellites.
We talked about this. We talked about this last week when we talked about DARPA and DeepMind.
Right.
How technologically advanced we are,
Right.
the Defense Department. I guarantee that there are so many cameras that they could actually not only locate the car,
Right.
but follow it
Where's
wherever
Pat?
it
When,
goes
right.
and whatnot, switch
Right.
it from one camera to the other,
That's
to
right.
the other, to the
Right.
other.
That's right.
They could do that.
Right.
They could do that.
But why don't
they? Because nobody gives a rat's ass about black girls.
So we have to start giving a
we
rat's ass.
have to, and we cannot do it unless we challenge young people to take some responsibility to our total development.
Right, that's
as long
exactly
as
right.
we got young people who are too chicken turd
Right.
to
speak up.
to speak up, to take a stand in terms of what's going on in the NFL with Kaepernick.
Right.
When we have rap singers talking about he ain't no activist, Al Sharpton is
Right.
an activist. His job is to get in them bees' drawers or some stuff.
Right.
And you have activists saying he's right, you dumbass.
Right.
I'm very pissed off about that.
Right. We
You need to
co-sign on it.
retract that. You
Right.
need to retract that.
Co-sign it.
And I'm looking right in the camera, so you know I'm not joking about this.
Right.
I am livid about that.
Right.
Especially when I look at what is occurring, and I'm happy you got some money for Trayvon's mama
Right.
and all of that stuff.
Right.
However, we have some crises that need to be addressed
Right.
before they happen.
Right.
And what is going down with our young people
Right.
needs to be addressed, and we need all
Right.
hands on deck.
Right. And
All hands on
Well, the
deck.
thing of it is, too, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
You are the problem.
And that
you
particular
are
person,
the problem.
I don't want
You
to say,
are the
I'm not going to
problem.
say that person's name he's talking about, but that person's name, you know how I feel about that person. He sold out.
I'm ambivalent about the person himself. I have mixed feelings about that person himself. On the one hand, he has done what I consider to be a lot of good things.
Okay.
I actually believe that in many, if not most things, he is quite sincere. But I think as a point of strategy, and we obviously disagree.
Oh yeah, we
and
do.
I'm not,
because I think he's a self-serving. I mean, that man has a show on network whose ratings are through the toilet, and they're paying him $800,000 a year for it.
Well, there are some things that I am very disappointed in.
Right.
I am very disappointed in the Comcast relationship.
Right, with Byron Allen.
Yeah.
He spoke against Byron Allen on that.
It's bigger than Byron Allen.
Right, right.
Right now, we have reached a point in our development when it's time to make some moves.
Right.
It's time to get your ass off of the Pettis Bridge.
Right.
Yeah.
Very well said.
You know.
Very well said. Right.
And start making some moves.
Right.
And a couple of your people who might not like what I say, but I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care,
You
right.
lazy ass, you ain't. You need to learn your craft a little better anyway.
Right,
I was
right.
looking at the quality of your work
Right.
through the toilet.
What was that again?
I'm not even gonna say. I'm not even gonna say.
Hey, look, the only
You know,
reason I'm not going to say those names because I'm going to have some integrity about our show. I won't say their names. Not today, anyway.
Yeah, and today is not a day for picking on people.
Right.
And I really don't like to engage in that
Right, 'cause
because
we're bigger than that. We're bigger than us.
about something other
Right,
than that.
right, that's right.
However, strategically, there are some things that I am very disappointed
Right.
because all of you Negroes are not being helpful.
Right.
The NFL, the black players in the NFL have not been helpful. The
NBA players in the NBA
have not been helpful.
Right.
The hip hop rap, whatever you call it,
Not been helpful at all.
have not been helpful.
Right.
As a result, we are not just a last place team.
Right.
We have no way of moving even into a next to last place team.
Right. But the
You
thing
know.
of it is, don't think you're in first individually, because we have to stop thinking individually.
And we are being out hustled by blacks from other countries
Right.
who come here.
And they think we're ignorant.
So it's not even a question of race
Right.
as much as the fact that our effort is not there,
Right.
and we are just not. We need to
stop.
performing.
We need to stop thinking about self. We need
Yes.
to think more about
Yes.
us as a community. And you young people out there that's supposed to
The
lead
shallow
us.
self.
Yeah, the shallow
The shallow
self.
self.
Right. The ones that want to lead us, you have to have knowledge of oneself first.
Correct.
You know,
correct.
Go read, pick up a book, go in. I don't know. You need to do something to find out who you really are and what you stand for. Not the job you have, who you are as an individual.
All right.
What your capabilities are.
Full disclosure. I listen to country music. So
do I.
And I watch the Hallmark Channel. And the Hallmark Channel is woefully short of flies in their buttermilk.
Right.
I will admit that.
Yes.
I will be the first to admit that.
They just came out.
As a matter of fact, they got Tia and Tamara, the two sister act chicks, you know.
Right.
And they got little shows for them, and they'll every now and then they'll put on somebody. They'll let Patty sing or something like that. You know, they had the princess on, Miss Markle.
Right.
The marvelous Miss Markle
Right.
on one time. But for the most part, it's a white conservative, get married, raise a family, live in beautiful white
neighborhood, suburbia.
Yeah,
Right.
you know.
Right. They didn't include any
feel
people of
good.
color.
You get one kiss at the end of the
Right,
show.
right,
You know,
that's it,
right?
right.
And that
Right.
last minute they kiss.
Right.
And then they'll get married or whatever.
It's short of TVN.
I actually kind of like those stories that are devoid of BS.
Right. But at the same time.
They identify themselves as a very conservative channel.
Right.
They had a sponsor who does wedding
Right.
does weddings.
Right.
And they had a commercial that they aired on the Hallmark Channel. That in the commercial, two women were getting married and they kissed on it, and the viewers.
First, it was 30,000 viewers that said something bad, say they can't have it, and that's why they pulled
Well,
it.
they call themselves 30,000 moms or million moms
Right,
or
something like that,
But
yeah.
they had moms in it. There was a
Right,
whole lot of thousand, and it was moms
Right,
in, and
right.
they said they couldn't have it. So they ended up pulling the ad because they said it. Most of their viewers are people who adhere to conservative values,
right.
and this went against their conservative values, you know.
And then?
Hallmark complied. Hallmark complied. What's interesting is that, and that's an advertiser. That's an
Right,
advertiser.
right.
They didn't say they couldn't advertise. They said they couldn't show two women kissing.
Right.
Okay. The advertiser left. He said, "Fine, I got a lot of other places I can advertise
Right,
on. I'm through with y'all." I can't get black folks to come together when they snatching teenage girls
16-year-old off the street.
right off the street. I can't get black folks to come together when in the NFL white boys are kicking black football players, spitting on them and calling them niggas.
Right.
I can't get black folks to rally around a football player, a black football player, taking a righteous, nonviolent position and supporting them.
Right.
Right now, I am one army short of a war.
Right. That's right.
I have no troops, no soldiers, no anybody to engage in this war. It is very disappointing.
And I don't know, we have to stop. We have to stop. Because this is bull. Well, we're running out of time.
What happened with Seal?
My man Seal. Samuel, I met Seal many years ago. Seal engaged Oprah. He called Oprah
On
out
Instagram,
on
yeah,
Instagram
yeah.
when Seal said, you know what, she was complicit.
Right.
And Weinstein, she vilified Michael Jackson.
Right.
Gayle King, her best friend, vilified R. Kelly.
Right.
But not one person, either or, vilified Harvey Weinstein.
Or Charlie Rose.
Or Charlie Rose, right.
Rose was pulling this stuff, sitting on the same set with Gayle King. She never said a word.
Nope.
She never said a word.
This is that
and this
white
was the point. This was
white
the
supremacy.
point. Right. Our compliance to white supremacy, our belief that white supremacy is forever,
Right.
and no matter where we are in the food chain, no matter how much money we got,
Right.
even though we've clocked $1 billion, we
Right.
still are not going to say anything
Against white supremacy.
against white supremacists. However, we will vehemently
Vilify.
attack and vilify black
people.
folks.
Yep.
We got about a minute.
Okay, I want to
do your
say
thing.
thank you guys. You know what? This has been an incredible year. We have recorded over 50 live shows this year, more than anybody else. I want to thank all our viewers. We love you. We love you. We love you. We'll be back next year doing our same thing. But remember this: shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still among the stars, baby. Take us out now, Wood.
Yeah, we're gonna continue to raise the bar. We're gonna try to very much try to be a entity unto ourselves in the things that we do. As Greg said, everything we do, from the editing to the soundtrack to the studio production, everything is a tight little group, and I thank God for that group. I thank God for everybody who is with me. Happy holidays, Veronica, Sheila. Greg is my man.
That would make it all happen, baby.
Lou, everybody who has been a part of this show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything you do.
That's right.
Peace.
Happy holidays, everybody.
We out.
We out of here. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. We'll see you guys next year. Thank you, Nat Wood.
My brother.
My brother. Hey, we're out.